Now, the first thing that we're going to do today is to help you to get some clarity on what you want in your life. And it's important to do that because if you don't even know where you're going, it's hard for you to know when you get there. So today we're going to dive into what has led you to where you are today. Before we jump into what it is that you like in life, I want you to start by doing a life map. So what I have shared in the link below is a worksheet which I want you to take out and use for some kind of reflection today. And kind of think about your life. Think about how you were born, think about the schools you went to, think about the people you met, the people who had an impact in your life. Think about your father, your mother, or maybe a motherly figure in your life, the people who raised you. Think about the beliefs that they had and how that has shaped you into who you are today. Think about the highs, think about the lows, think about the different experiences you've had in life, and just try to wrap it up in a kind of map. So what I have shared with you, if you click the link that is in this email, you would see that worksheet where you can create your own life map. Because if you want to get more clarity in your life, it's important to understand where you're coming from. So today is all about who am I and where am I coming from? What has shaped me into who I am today? And how has that affected my belief system, my confidence level, my fears, everything about myself? How has that shaped me into who I am? And I'll tell you a little bit about myself so that can help you with this exercise. So I was born a couple of years ago, and like I said, before, my birth wasn't such an exciting thing because my parents really wanted a boy. But I came out as the fourth girl in the family. And as I was growing up, I started to discover I had a love for dance, I had a love for art, I had a love for coordinating people. So as young as I just ended up being maybe the class captain of my class at different points in time. I knew how to rally people around and make them do things. And I discovered that quite early in life. By the age of 4, I realized I love making creative stories. And so I got my first radio contract, on radio, where I was teaching children stories. We were talking about the tortoise, the air, just funny stories that children could relate with. And my mom was always there to help with the drums and the songs that we would sing. And that was my childhood. So, my parents did their best with it to make it a joyful childhood for me. I also learned how to be an entrepreneur. I could sell things from the age of 5. I was selling roasted peanuts. We learned how to bake, and we would just make things up and go sell them. And it was fun to have my own piggy bank where I could save some money. And at the end of the year, just before Christmas, we would all empty our piggy banks. And depending on how much money you had in there, my parents would add a bit more into it, and we will buy something fabulous. It was a way of rewarding, yourself for a job well done. So really getting into entrepreneurial skills, knowing how to fend for myself, learning a trade or learning skills were things that were part of my childhood growing up. And so there are many highs that I had in my life, but there are also many lows. And when I think of the fact that I can talk to you right now, I'm a miracle. Every day I wake up, I just believe I'm a miracle because I was this close to death. Not once, not twice, but 3 times in my life. And I remember the very first episode I had, where the bullet passed through my jacket as I was running away. It was a car hijack, highway robbery. Really armed men who were merciless, even in the way I saw their eyes and their voices. But when I was caught up in that scenario, the only voice I heard within me just told me to run. That was all I heard. I heard Felicia, get up and run. And so I opened the door of the car and I just sneaked out slightly and I started to run. And I heard these gunshots behind me and they were saying, stop, stop, stop. But all I heard within me was run. And so I ran with all my might. I had no shoes on. I jumped over to the other side of the highway and I just kept running. And I just kept running. And the verse that kept coming in my mind was, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And I just kept running. I just kept running. Now, I don't know how long I ran and how far I ran. The only thing I knew was that I kept running. And I ran until my legs could not keep up with me anymore. And I fell down, onto a mini ant hill. I gathered all the branches I could find. I covered myself. And all I could whisper was, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And when it was dark, many hours later, I got up and I felt, okay, probably there's someone who can help me right now, because it was dark. I had no clue where I was. I was somewhere in the bush. There was no one around. And so I gathered myself up and, I tried to walk back to the highway. And after some time, there were some good Samaritans who helped me to the nearest police station where I could give my statement and probably get some help. And when I got to the police station, I realized it was 11 p.m. And I'm talking about leaving that highway about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So for many hours, I ran, and for many hours I hid. But one thing I knew for sure, that the Lord was my shepherd and I shall not want. So I'm here today as a miracle. I'm here today because God spared my life from that experience. And if you want to hear about the others, I will share a bit more in the upcoming video. But now it's your turn to get to work and try to think about where you are today, who you are today, and what has shaped you into the person that you are. So spend the rest of the day doing that exercise for yourself. Think about the things that you're learning as you're drawing out your life's map, and then I'll see you tomorrow.